What's up guys, Joel here, back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the best muscles to train to look bigger. Now, a little disclaimer, you should be training, if you're a gym rat that cares about the way you look or just the way your body functions, whatever reason you're in the gym, you care about your body, you should be training all of your muscles. The point of this video is not to say, hey, train only these muscles mentioned in the video and neglect all the ones that aren't mentioned. No. I'm just giving you a little bit of know-how on what muscles contribute most to a big and attractive frame. You're gonna hit every muscle in your body, but maybe you want to prioritize the ones that hold the most weight or the ones that make you stand out the most. Or maybe I'm just giving you new insights on something you may have neglected because you didn't think it was important, and you learned today that it was probably one of the most important muscles to train, right? So I'm just going to be telling you guys the most important muscles to train to get bigger. I'm probably gonna go start from the top of the body going down, but the first muscle is your neck / traps, and mostly your traps. Now, when it comes to people looking at us, the first thing they look at is our face. They look at us from top to bottom, right? They look at our face, and then what's right below the face is our neck and shoulders, right? Our traps. Studies show that having big masculine traps, as well as a proportional neck to your jawline, do make you appear a lot more masculine and attractive and just intimidating in general, right? So it's bad to neglect these, right? You don't need the craziest hulkish neck, a wide neck, but a proportional neck with good trap development is vital, right? Good trap development is what creates that broad shoulder look that Chris Hemsworth has, and it's overall just a good muscle to have. It makes you look better in shirts. So yeah, your traps and your shoulders. Now for neck, I don't directly train neck. This is just genetics for me, but I've looked at research, and you can do what are called neck curls, or you could just put a plate on your forehead and do them. I would watch the intensity and watch how hard I do them at first, so you don't fuck yourself up, because it can be a pretty intense exercise. But that is a way to develop your neck. Now for your traps, there's a lot of ways to hit your traps. You can hit them through deadlifts, you can hit them through face pulls, or pretty much any rear delt movement. But the best way that I found to hit traps is if your gym has a dip machine of sorts, right? One where you have where it's like a seated dip machine where you're sitting on one side, then you can load the plates on the other side. Go to the side where you can load the plates, hold the plates by the little handles and the spaces in between the plates, and you can get a really good contraction and stretch in your traps. Additionally, you can lean forward a bit and kind of pull like that. So doing some shrugs for your traps as well as neck curls for your neck. Sorry, I'm sick. But as well as neck curls for your neck is a good way to develop your neck and traps. Now for the next muscle that is very important in having a well-developed wide frame is your lateral delt. Your lateral delt is your mid delt. It is the middle, right? So this is the front, lateral, and rear delt. When you look at me, right, and you see my shoulders, this look where the arm tapers in and then it curves out, that is pure lateral delt, because your front delt isn't going to taper out that much, and neither is your rear delt. What creates the wideness of the shoulder is the lateral delt. Now it's a fairly easy muscle to hit. You can simply just throw in some lateral raises, whether they're machine or they're cable raises, or you can just do dumbbell raises. I personally like the machine raises because I find that they can get a really good deep burn, but whatever lateral raise you want to do works fine. Some people even like to span lateral raises where they'll do a little bit less sets, but they'll do it every other day, and I've seen it work really well for people. Regardless, the lateral delt is the most important delt in the shoulder for looking as big as fucking possible, right? They'll also get hit really well on military press, but your focus on getting lateral delt should come mostly from lateral raises. Now, the next muscle, and probably the most important muscle in having a big looking frame or just wide upper body, is your back, but most importantly, your lats. Your lats is the muscles that run down the side of your back that kind of resemble a wing if they're well developed enough. Now, when you have good lats, they give this wideness look to your build, this kind of V-taper look. That's where the V-taper look comes from. It's really 60% lats. So when you do have well-developed lats, it helps your frame entirely. It helps your shoulders look broader. It helps your waist look slimmer. it doesn't just help your frame, but it helps the general flow and aesthetic of your physique in general when you have well-developed lats. Now, getting developed lats is not the hardest thing, but a lot of people do have trouble trying to activate their lats, right? Now, the best way to hit your lats is on any particular back exercise. You want to drag your elbow out as much as possible, lock it and tuck it into your sides and squeeze. So the best example of this would be a cable row, right? So you have your cable row. Now some people do their cable rows like this, and those are not bad if you're trying to hit a different muscle. But if you're trying to target the lats and you want your frame to pop out the most, you want to ideally lock it into your sides, tuck it, and then while you're pulling it, have your elbows as low as you can, right? And what this does is this properly contracts your lats, so you'll be able to bias them and effectively grow them a lot better. And with that form tweak, you're probably going to be able to feel your lats a lot better as well, because remember, the lats is one of the main muscles people struggle to feel. This doesn't just apply to rows, this applies to pull downs. Any back exercise you can tweak to make it a lat exercise. Just remember, elbows to the side, drag it out as much as possible and lead with the elbow and squeeze the muscles in your back together, and you will get a good lat contraction. Making sure your lats are developed will help your frame tremendously. That is probably the number one thing for helping you develop a good frame, is a good back. And now I gotta mention arms, because I know most guys just want huge ass arms, right? The number one most important muscle in your arms, I'll go over two muscles, right, is your tricep. Your tricep is the muscle on the back of your arm, which makes up roughly 2/3 of your arm. So it's very common in gym nature to look at the bicep as the most iconic muscle or look at it as the most important, when in reality it's not. It's the tricep. The tricep holds a lot more weight, and it's very easy to hit the tricep. You can hit this on a typical bench press. You can hit it on a modified close grip bench press. You can hit this with dips. I love dips. Or you can just do a typical rope push down, where you kind of bend over a little bit, lock your shoulders back, keep it tucked, and you use two cables to get a full range of motion. Regardless, your triceps hold most of the weight on your arm, and they are a muscle that you need to get bigger if you want your arms to look huge. You can have the most amazing, tremendous biceps ever, but if your triceps are lacking, you're not gonna look that great, pal. So make sure you develop your triceps. Now, kind of moving down the arm for the forearm, right? The most important muscle in the forearm is your brachioradialis. It is not only the biggest muscle in your forearm, but it is probably your most powerful, and it's incredibly easy to hit this. All you have to do to hit the brachioradialis really well is do a hammer curl or a reverse curl. I prefer the hammer curl simply because I can load up more weight. It's a lot safer on my wrist, and it's a lot easier to progressively overload as well. But the reverse curl is just as good if you're healthy with your wrist and you find that you can progress well. Regardless, developing your brachioradialis is how you get a big looking forearm. I don't do any direct forearm training, but because of my brachioradialis being very well developed, I still have a good set of forearms. Now, they could be better if I hit it directly, but me having them still looking this good goes to show you that when you train the proper muscles correctly, you kind of won't really ever look small. This is not to say neglect the other muscles, but do make sure you put good time and intention to the muscles that matter. Now for the last muscle on the frame that most people tend to neglect, and I rarely ever see mentioned. I've actually never seen it mentioned in making your frame look good, and we're going to be talking about the lower body, is your outer quad. Now, the outer quad creates that quad sweep. It creates the wideness in the quad. So when you have this developed, it really impacts your frame. It impacts how you look in sweatpants, and it even makes your waist look slimmer, because guess what? Whatever's closest to your waist, aka your lats and your quads, they need to look big in order to make the waist look smaller. So if you do make your outer quads look a lot bigger, your waist will look smaller, your frame will look better, and you'll just have a lot better flow in general. And it's very easy to hit outer quads. You can hit outer quads on pretty much any squat variation. They're actually the part of the quad that's biased the most on most squat variations. Now, if you want to bias it on a leg extension, you can turn your toes inward and hold for 3 seconds at the top, and that works well too. But for the most part, if you're getting like a good squat variation in your routine, you're good. Now, the two best squat variations for biasing quad, or three, would be just a typical heel elevated squat, whether you want to do it on a Smith machine or free weight barbell. A front squat, you can even do that elevated too on a Smith machine. And a hack squat, which is just probably the king of quad exercises. So getting your outer quads bigger helps your frame a lot. You'll be surprised at just how much better your frame looks when you have a proper set of legs to match. Most importantly, your outer quads. So yeah, don't neglect outer quads. Don't neglect legs in general. Don't be one of those guys. And there you have it. Those are the muscles that help contribute to having a bigger looking frame. If you think I missed a muscle, or you disagree, or you just want to add a helpful insight, drop a comment down below and let me know what other videos you guys want. I should be able to buy some more equipment for my videos, considering I just got a better job than my old one. So yeah, expect some higher quality, but we're gonna try to keep this consistency shit going. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.